All right, it appears we are live. Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and welcome to a very spontaneous, and I'm going to assume not too terribly long video for iCritic Live. This is very unprepared, as you can probably tell, but I just saw a video by ReviewTechUSA, and, I really don't like talking about drama. I'd much rather talk about movies. I'd much rather talk about cartoons, video games, all that jazz. But this stuff that's been going on with Quantum TV and the Act Man has been really concerning, especially for what it means for YouTube as a platform. Now, we're gonna show this video. I don't know if the audio is going to be heard or not by you guys. I've actually never done this before. So if the audio is not being heard, then we are going to have the closed captioning on because I definitely have thoughts on this. So let's play this.
I want to make this video while I'm very, very angry. So I don't know what's going on at YouTube, but there's corruption going on there. And I don't have a problem saying it. And if it means my channel gets shut down for saying it, so be it. I'll go walk off into the sunset and live stream on Twitch. So I go to check my account today, and I see that I have a community guideline strike, a warning. It tells me I could review the content here. And it's not showing right now, but it was the live stream video where I showed a highlight clip about Quantum TV. Now, it also just so happens that now I have a couple videos that also I didn't rate the ads properly, which initially I didn't think was a conspiracy, but tied together with this, yeah, something's up. YouTube doesn't want us talking about this situation, but too bad, I'm going to continue to talk about it. However, I am not uploading content on this channel until this is resolved. It may never be resolved. YouTube may not remove this community guideline strike, but YouTube, what's going on? Why are you siding with hatred here? You are siding with someone who is verified to be a bigot, who has put hateful things, wishing death, wishing the LGBTQ community is shot dead. That's the side that you're siding with. This is a repeat offender that has done this over and over again, Quantum TV. And during Pride Month, you are siding with the bigot. Why? Because someone there has an ego and doesn't want to admit they made a mistake? Or maybe there's someone there that is a sympathizer that's like incognito there that sided with Quantum TV because they agree with this horrible takes. And maybe someone else figured that out, and now it makes a lot of people look really bad. But I don't know what's going on there, but something is definitely going on. And right now, the way it seems, YouTube is siding with hate against the LGBTQ community during Pride Month. And this is confirmed so long as Quantum TV is on there, who has called me a sexual predator and has called me a pedophile. Lies he has said about me, and his videos are still up unless he takes them down himself. And I get a community guideline strike. You're making real good choices here. I'll have my live stream channel below in the description. I'll be live streaming there. I'll also have my Twitch there where I'm partnered as well. You may want to follow me on there. I may not be on this website that much longer. And if that happens, I'll be streaming on Twitch. But I'm not keeping my mouth shut about this. Whatever the hell is going on at YouTube, it's eventually going to be figured out. This is ridiculous.
All right. So I do not know if anyone heard that. If you didn't hear that, then, the subtitles or the closed captioning was there. But this is a situation that's just getting really, really out of control and really disturbing. I mean, it was bad enough that Quantum TV was allowed to copyright strike all of these channels just because they disagreed with his opinion on Elden Rings. And then it got worse when the Act Man pointed out all of the horrible ways that he had broken terms of service. And instead of YouTube saying, hey, thank you, you've really showed where some faults in our system lie, we're going to take care of this and we're going to improve our system, they struck the act man. Now, granted, he did have a couple tweets that might not have been called for, but it's like, really, if they needed to make a point about that, they should have just, punished them both. But they struck one over the other, and weirdly enough, one person got struck and demonetized over deleted tweets, when the deleted tweets were why they couldn't do anything about the Act Man. Or not the Act Man, Quantum TV. It's really crazy. And now it looks like we may have lost Rick of ReviewTechUSA. He has stated that this is ridiculous, that he's getting a community guideline strike for reacting to a video, and he will not be updating on the platform until the strike is removed or until YouTube does something, which means one of my favorite YouTubers is probably not going to be on this platform any longer. Now, of course, the one thing about this that is especially concerning is, what about people who want to talk about this? What about people like me who looks at this, and this is a very huge injustice on so many levels? Like, what happens to us? Like, am I going to lose my channel? I mean, granted, I'm only making like $12 a month on this channel anyway, but am I officially put in the crosshairs of what's going on with Quantum TV and YouTube? You know what this really reminds me of? This reminds me of that situation with Susie Liu. Does anyone remember Susie Liu? I know she's still on the platform, but for a hot minute there, she was like one of the most talked about YouTubers on the platform, because a couple of YouTubers called her out for basically breaking terms of service. Now, in some ways, she was not as bad as Quantum TV. She was breaking the terms of service with reaction videos. She would sit there, and I can't show examples, but she would watch anime like Naruto and Inuyasha, and she would sit there and watch whole episodes, and she would barely react. She would cut a little bit of the episodes out, but for the most part, she would just be sitting there going like, oh. I mean, in my opinion, really banal content. And the reason that content got called out was because there's two reasons why that channel kind of became popular. One, she's a hot girl. She's very pretty, very beautiful. And she's showing what was basically amounted to full episodes of series with very little commentary and very little reaction. So if you wanted to, in a sense, watch these episodes for free, all you had to do was put up with like a pretty girl on the side of the screen, and you could watch Naruto for free. And she did it for like every episode. And so people started calling her out that this was lazy content. And then anime voice actors found out about it. And when they found out how much money she was making doing it, they started calling her out because they thought that was nonsense. And the thing was, she was very much breaking copyright law with those videos, but she hosted her servers and on servers that basically was outside of America and Japan's jurisdiction, and YouTube refused to do anything about it. But as the situation got more and more extreme, eventually YouTube decided they had had enough, and they decided to start banning and striking people who were making videos about her. So they weren't striking Susie Liu for breaking terms of service. They were striking Tipster. And I think John Swan was his name. I kind of forget, to be honest. And I remember it was a BS reason then, but Tipster basically said that was going to bring an end to the videos because, you know what? At the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. And they made it very clear they did not want YouTubers responding to Susie Liu. She probably had a partner, and the partner probably likes her and agrees with her, and they put out some justice, or they made an example, and everyone basically backed off because that was not a battle worth fighting in many people's opinions. And I kind of agree with that. Susie Liu, as annoying as she was, as dumb as her videos were, as much as she was breaking copyright law, and it was like extremely unfair that she had her videos stay up while the Nostalgia Critic and Mysterious Mr. Enter have to deal with copyright takedown notices every single day was a bit ridiculous. But at the end of the day, nobody wanted to fight that battle to the death. That was not a hill anyone felt was worth dying on. And I agree, it was not a battle worth dying on, a hill worth dying on. But what's happening with Quantum and the Act Man is probably a hill worth dying on because of all the things that it represents. First of all, I'm going to say something super, super unpopular. What Quantum TV feels about people in his personal life is disgusting and is absolutely horrible, but I don't think that is as much of a factor as other things that's going on. Granted, if YouTube says that they are going to strike him or take people down because of hateful things they say outside of the YouTube platform, I agree that's their choice to do, and I would not shed a tear if that's what happened to him. And you know, to be honest, if they're going to do this for Act Man, I believe they absolutely should do it for Quantum TV. Quantum TV told a bad joke, and yet, Act Man told a bad joke, and they demonetized his channel, but Quantum TV has wished death upon marginalized people during a month that celebrates those marginalized people, and that I would be okay if they demonetized his account for that alone. But for the most part, I've kind of held a stance that, you know what, I would rather they ban them. When you ban someone on YouTube, it's for things you did on YouTube. Same thing with Facebook and Twitter. That might not be a popular opinion. It's kind of what I feel, though. But here's the thing. Just even by that standard alone, Quantum TV has done so much to warrant being at the very least suspended. And the fact that Quantum gets away with all the copyright striking that he does, I mean, he is making a very strong case for people who do not like being criticized that you can just silence your critics. I mean, there was a reason that a bunch of videos where people expose false flagging used to be a very effective tool, because people who get that much negative publicity tend to stop what they're doing. They don't want to be the bad guy. They want to be the good guy. They feel that they were right to copyright strike those videos. And when the community turns on them, they back off a little bit. This is where Quantum TV might be a little bit of an outlier, because there's a reason that the saying there's no such thing as bad publicity is a thing. From Quantum's mind, and this is an assumption, but it might be what he's thinking, like, hey, everyone hates me, but you know what? They're watching my videos. They're speaking my name. I'm gaining subscribers. So I really don't care if everyone hates me, and I'm going to keep doing this. So the thing is, the public pressure that would normally cause most sane people to stop what they're doing and to slow down and maybe back off a little bit is the kind of thing that is enabling Quantum TV. And he's going bigger and bigger every single time because he gets the views and he gets the attention. And we're still talking about this months later. So he is not only becoming a menace to people who want to talk about him, but he's kind of encouraging other people to do it, which is why this is a standard no one wants to see adopted. People don't want the standard to be like, hey, if you criticize someone in a video, that video can be copyright struck and you can have your channel demonetized and stuff. That's not a standard we want to aim for. At the same time, it's especially concerning because when he starts calling people's mother, it gets really weird once he starts calling people's family members and starts messaging them, and he encourages his fans to do this. And I've dealt with cyberbullies on this platform. Granted, I'm a much smaller creator, and I think I handled myself well for the most part, but, you know, cyberbullying is a big problem on YouTube. And when you see something that is so obviously cyberbullying and so obviously throwing weight around, and you see YouTube do nothing about it, that is concerning people. Like, you know, what this guy is doing is affecting people's livelihoods. This is the equivalent of a store owner realizing that there is a repeat customer coming into his store and he is shoplifting every single time. He grabs something, doesn't matter what it is, he grabs a little something, kind of sneaks it in his pocket, and then he walks out the door and he realizes it. Now, of course, it's not a lot of money and you can recover from it, but you do it enough and it's like that ends up being a lot of money. So he tells the mall security, don't let this guy come into my store. If he comes in my store, arrest him for shoplifting. And the mall security basically says, we're not going to arrest him because we didn't catch him in the act. Oh, well, don't worry. I've got it on video. You show the video and it's like, yeah, but he's not in the store shoplifting now, so we're not going to arrest him. I mean, that would be crazy if that's how it went down. And that would really make you think twice about whether or not you wanted to sell merchandise in that store, because you know what that shoplifter is going to do. He's going to go to his friends and his buddies. He's going to say, hey, go to this store. You can steal things. They're not going to do anything. Or go to this mall. And it's now affecting everybody. The person who was originally shoplifting from the anime store, his buddy might not want to shoplift anime, but maybe he wants to shoplift some Pokemon cards or a video game from GameStop. So he'll go there. Or maybe someone needs a baseball. They go to the sports place that's in there. And as long as security does not see them in the act, they know that security will let them go. And that is why people are so upset about this thing, because the YouTubers are rightfully pointed out what happened. And YouTube has done nothing. And now they are actually turning against the creators who make this platform a good place. Now, look, some people don't like ReviewTechUSA, and that's fine. I have not agreed with everything he has said. But the thing is, he has the right to say what he says as long as he's not doing it in a hateful way. But this brings up the question, what if, I know he's got like a beef with like, Pat Contra of the Completely Useless podcast. What if Pat, and I'm not saying Pat would do this. I actually think Pat's a better person than this. I'm just using it as an example. What if Pat decided he really does not like that those ReviewTechUSA videos where he was criticizing Pat for his Diablo Immortal take? What if he decided, like, I don't want to be criticized, I'm going to copyright strike that video? Not only would that be wrong, but it's taking money out of Rich's pocket. And originally, like, people would not do that because you don't want the negative publicity against you, and maybe YouTube might, suspend your channel for abusing the copyright system. But Quantum TV has showed that you can get away with it. And in fact, you can very easily get away with it, and you can do it as much as you want. What happens when what if Pat was a bad actor? And I'm not saying he is, because I don't think he is a bad actor, but yeah, what if Pat decided to start like flagging everyone that made a video disagreeing with his Diablo Immortal podcast? I mean, it sets such a slippery slope, because he can take money out of the YouTubers' pockets who have the right to make those videos, and he can get their channel struck, and they could lose their monetization. And that really makes people stop and think, like, well, do I really want to be doing business on YouTube? I've made a career out of it, but do I want to make it my business? Now, YouTube used to be a career for me. It's not so much anymore. I'd like it to be again, but these situations are becoming very, very concerning. I kind of wonder what that future looks like because the thing is, if you start getting a following, you're going to start getting haters. What happens if I get a hater and it's all but even proven, like, hey, they just don't like you, so they're just going to copyright strike your videos? And the process to get the strikes removed is so high, and it's so cumbersome, and it's ridiculous. It really just, this puts everyone in a very, very bad spot. And I have to applaud Actman for sticking up and voicing his concerns. I have to applaud Rick of ReviewTechUSA for basically saying, I don't want to do business with YouTube as long as YouTube is like this. And of course, I am very, very concerned that this is not going to mean anything. That at the end of the day, YouTube is just going to let this maniac, in my opinion, continue doing what he's doing. And if you try to make the platform better, then you're just going to get silenced, or you're going to get demonetized, or whatever. I understood why content creators walked away from the Suzy Lou battle. It was ultimately not a hill worth dying on, because at the end of the day, she was making just really crummy videos. But I understand why this is a hill to die on for most YouTube creators, because this is their livelihood. You're talking about someone who is going to continue to copyright strike everyone if he just doesn't like them. And he's made it clear there's going to be bad actors that follow him where they're just going to, they will do what he's doing. Maybe their videos won't even be about them. Maybe they just don't like the opinion, so they copyright strike the video and they know nothing's going to happen to them. And they know that YouTube, if they even catch them, will side with them. So the whole thing is disgusting. I don't know if my channel will get deleted. I think I'm too small for them to really notice me. I also know that I'm probably too small for anyone to hear what I have to say and to care, but you know, it can't just be the big guy saying this. Even the little guys have to say this. So I'm going to continue making YouTube videos just because, you know, I don't have a whole lot of other things to do and I'm still building my channel, but I will speak about this injustice. And if YouTube demonetizes me, so be it. I technically lost this job years ago. So that's where we're going to end this episode of iCritic Live. Hopefully we can get back to talking about movies and stuff real soon. But yeah, I just had to point out, like, and Rick, if you ever see this, I love your videos. I'm going to miss them, but I totally understand where you're coming from. So take care, everyone, and flame responsibly.